Hey guys, something is happening in the Black community. I'm not sure you're aware of it, but on this video today, I'm going to share with you how something incredible is happening in the Black community and you need to be aware of it. Let's go. Okay, what's going on, guys? My name is Justice, former life coach, former pastor, and I have no friends. And I just want to speak to that just a little bit. The reason I say Justice Marine has no friends is because, one, I want to show people how easy it is to build relationships. You see that in my interviews. I'm doing less and less of those, but really I'm trying to just show you, like, I randomly find these people, I get an interview, and you're watching us build a friendship. And I hope that you guys see that and you can just do that without having a podcast. The second thing is, I never want my relationships I have with others to control me saying the truth. Right? And I see a lot of people that feel like they can't say the truth because they're worried about how people will, like, how's that going to harm me? Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to do this? Am I going to lose my friendship? What are they going to think about me? If I'm a Republican, but I want to vote Democrat and I want to talk about how I think the Democrats are right, how's that going to affect me? Or if I'm a Democrat and I think the Republicans are right and I say that, how's that going to affect my relationships? Will people want to, and you freak out. Well, I never want to freak that. So I say Justice Marine has no friends because I want to do the right thing even if my tribe or the people around me don't think it's right. So I make these videos from that end. So, all right, like I said, the Black community is going through something crazy right now. All right. If you're watching this in the far, far future, we are in the throes of the beginning of us having a new president. It's 2024. Biden just said he's not going to run again. And we've got Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. So, knives are out, everyone's going crazy. But I don't think anyone is noticing that there is an increasing amount of African Americans that are actually wanting to vote Republican. Not only that, but something else is happening. And it is called Black victimhood. If you are aware of the African American culture right now, there's a huge amount of victimhood, meaning we want reparations, we want people to pity us, we want the government to give us more money. We are very victim oriented. We see ourselves in the world as victims. And as a result, the rest of the world goes, oh, you are victims? Oh, okay. Therefore, we'll treat you like victims. That means you need us. And so we start looking at the Black community as lesser. And it's crazy, and it has fed into white guilt, which leads me to something kind of crazy. I don't know if you're aware of the book White Fragility, but the author of it has come under some alleged copying of other people's work, plagiarism claims. And it's really, really interesting because that book was massive, along with How to Be an Anti-Racist, which basically was, it's not good enough to not be racist. You actually had to find the racists, essentially, by this guy named Ibram something. Well, he's come under a lot of trouble because apparently it's been alleged that there was maybe some mishandling of funds, all right, in I believe his nonprofit. Now, this is all alleged, but I want you to know that these are all keys. All of these things are starting to happen, and what I think is happening is that the Black community is waking up and saying, we're not victims. We're not going to believe in the stuff that's being preached to us by people that want us to stay victims, because anytime that you are a victim, people can make money off of your victimhood. All right? So if you're a victim, someone can come around, start a nonprofit that's aimed at serving you, and then they get a fat paycheck from the government. All right? This happens all the time. It happens to the poor. And the second you break away from being, I'm a victim, the second you break away from, because it's scary. Because when you say you are a victim, when you say, because of the color of my skin, I am naturally a victim, everyone's racist, and all this kind of stuff, it comes with a certain amount of tension that it's hard to avoid, and a certain level of, authority, meaning people go, oh, we should listen to you because you've been treated so poorly, especially here in America. I don't know what it is. I wrote a book about it. It's called How to Kill a Black Man, a book about love, and it's a really short read, but this is not a plug for my book. This is exciting for me when people that basically have written books about how victimized we are and how bad other people are being called out on their alleged mishandling of funds or plagiarism. What that tells me is both black people and white people are waking up. Recently, Don Lemon went on the streets and started interviewing African Americans saying, who are you voting for? And they, surprisingly to him, said Donald Trump. Some of them did. And I think what that means, and I'm not here telling everyone that, Donald Trump is good or bad. What I am saying is 4 years ago and leading up, even before that, like 8 years ago, he was Mr. Racist. That was his perception. To everyone, the media, everyone was preaching about, he wants to build a wall. He's racist. He said these things. He is definitely a racist. And I think it scared enough people, right? And I think eventually that's why he didn't win his follow-up term. Because he was painted as so evil, and a part of the evil that was being preached to us was that part of that evil is he's also a racist, right? But when people bought it hook, line, and sinker. But what we're seeing now is, as you can see, Don Lemon going on the street, actually broadcasting with these people and reaching people on the street and saying, hey, who you're voting for. And they are proudly, and they know that they're on camera with a former CNN broadcaster who had a big platform. And they are openly saying, voting for Trump. What does that tell you? The African American community is starting to see themselves as individuals instead of just one group, as a victim group. And this is awesome. If we look at communities that we would say are the communities in charge, which really just is like, if we talked about white people, you don't see them saying, we're victims. They just live their life. And you might say, oh, it's because they're not victims. Whatever. Every single race has gone through something crazy. The word slave comes from Slavs. The first known real slaves, I wouldn't say the first, but the word slave actually comes from white slaves known as the Slavs. Okay? Crazy. Nuts. And so every group has been not the superior or in charge group at some time, and as a result, was a victim in some way by some people, and somehow came out okay. All right? And so for us right now, what I think is happening with the African American community is they are dropping the victim part. They're dropping it. I think it's happening slowly. And they're starting to say, maybe we're not African Americans, maybe we're just Americans that are also black in skin color. We don't all think the same. And we're individuals. We don't have groupthink. And you can't just get us all to think one way because you say the African American community and you put a victim label on it. And usually when you're labeled as a victim and you agree on it, there's this herd mentality because you're like, are you like me? Did this happen to you? Me too. We are the victims. When that breaks free, you go, I am responsible for my own actions. And I am responsible for helping myself get to where I need to go. If that involves reaching out to community, reaching out for help, reaching out for assistance, great. But my identity is not rooted in the color of my skin or the pains that have happened to someone, maybe me. They don't define me. So this is healthy. Well, is anything going to happen right now? No, but I think it's a progression. I think we're starting to see the seeds of something that could grow to be very beautiful for the African American community because they'll start to say, while yes, I'm African American, it's like my descendant, I am an individual and I am not a victim. And this is awesome. Let's go. Justice Marini has no